Hello, family. This is Tonya, and welcome back to Nurses Speak. This is a channel for Black nurses, nurses of color, and open to all nurses. This is a channel where your voice can be heard and no topic is off limits. So I'm back on a walk, and it's actually the evening hours. I did a walk this morning, but the weather was so nice I decided to come out and walk again. Of course, there's a little bit of a chill in the air, so as you can see, I still have my layers on. I probably won't ditch these layers until maybe, I don't know, June, July, when it gets really warm, or what some may consider hot, even though it's really not that hot. But anyway, I want to talk a little bit about a personal topic. And this topic is the topic of trust. Now, trust is an interesting word, and it comes and shows itself to us in many forms. And sometimes we discover the depths of our trust when we go through certain experiences in life. And our perception of trust can also be very different. Now, let me explain what I mean. Some people equate trust with having faith. Some perceive it as an intuition or a gut feeling, or just a knowing about something. And trusting a lot of times has to be without seeing the actual evidence of what it is that you really want, what it is that you might be hoping for or believing for, or even just anticipating. Now, I'm trying to broaden the scope of this because it can apply to so many areas in our lives, both professionally and personally, to have trust. So I just want to share with you an experience that I had recently where I went someplace to take care of some business. And that business was in a government building that on certain days of the week, there are particular processes and documentations and things that aren't handled at all. I mean, when you go into the building, there are signs everywhere saying, on this day, we do not do this. We do not do this. And I had gone to the building because I had something to take care of, and I wasn't really aware, actually, that there was a particular day of the week that what I needed done wasn't done. I had to have something notarized by a county clerk. And anyway, so I got there early. There was a lot of people waiting outside, and of course, they had the security out there having everybody lined up to wait. And they have a tendency to kind of want to get an idea of why people are there, because obviously they have different lines for different services that you would be going into the building for. So when I said, I came to get this document notarized by the county clerk, and they said, oh, today is Wednesday. We don't do this. They don't do that on this day. But, don't take it from me. Go in. When they open up, go in and see what they say. And I was like, you sure it's worth waiting? He's like, yeah, well, don't go by what I say. I just know that, this is something they don't do on the particular day of the week. Let's say Wednesday. They don't do that these days. So I said, okay. Well, since I'm already here, I guess it doesn't hurt to wait online. It's soon going to be opening time, and I'll just go in and ask. And then, so I waited there about 10, 15 minutes, and then the line started moving. So another guard outside started directing the people online to go, up the steps to line up in front of the entrance of the building. And again, another officer, very nice, asked me, "So what are you here for, ma'am?" I said, "Well, I'm here to get this document notarized by the county clerk." And he says, "Well, today's Wednesday. They don't do that here on Wednesdays. But it's, go inside, see what they say. Ask. It doesn't hurt to ask. Go inside, see what they say." So another 5 minutes or so went through security and all that. And lo and behold, there were signs posted throughout the building lobby, by the elevator, when I got off the elevator. On Wednesdays, the county clerk notary is closed. We do not do notaries on Wednesdays. And of course, I happened to be there on a Wednesday. So unbeknownst to me, and there were so many signs, and to me it was kind of crazy. Like, why do they have so many signs saying they don't do this on Wednesday? Anyway, I walked in because the doors were open to the office. I walked in and went up to a woman behind the glass. And I was like, "Excuse me, I came here to get this document notarized today. And I was just wondering if someone could do it." And she's like, "Well, the notary is closed on Wednesdays. As you can see, they're there working, but they don't do this on Wednesdays. But you could ask, maybe someone will help you." I said, "Okay." So I turned to my left because adjacent to her were some people working at their desks who were the notary staff. So I said to a gentleman there, excuse me, sir. I came to get this document notarized, and I noticed that you have these signs all around that you're closed on Wednesday. You don't do notaries on Wednesday." So the first thing out of his mouth was, "Yes, we're closed today. We don't do notaries today." I said, "Oh, well, I traveled pretty far to get here. I came all the way from New Jersey," I said. "Actually, I was going into New York to get this document done. So let me just say that." He's like, "Oh, well, you came from out of state. Well, yes, of course. I could do that for you. It would just take me a few minutes. And then while I'm doing that, you can pay the cashier and you'll pick up your documents from her." I said, "Okay, great. Thank you." And of course, I was very appreciative. I thanked him profusely, paid the fee, and went on my merry way. Now, you might think, well, that's not such an amazing story. Somebody did something nice for you. Yes, they did. And I was grateful. But just to back it up, bear in mind, there were signs all around, in addition to 2 people telling me this is not done on Wednesdays. But go right ahead in and check it out anyway, which I did. And the man who actually did it said it himself. He said, "We don't do this on Wednesdays," but he did it anyway. Now, let me go back because I want to say something that maybe some of you have experienced and some of you may have not. But nevertheless, you may have this experience in the very near future. I would say it had to be around 4 a.m. in the morning where I was suddenly awakened, and within myself I heard, "Go take care of this today." Now, I had no plans on traveling anywhere, and I know that it was something I had put off for doing it for several months, actually. These documents that I had were just sitting there, and I needed to get them notarized. But I just put it off, I was procrastinating on it because it was a lengthy process I had to go through, and I really wasn't feeling like making the trip, and, whatever little excuses I could come up with to delay doing what I really knew I needed to do anyway. But anyway, this voice was so loud at 4 a.m., right? Go take care of this today. The instructions were very clear. I was like, wait a minute. Where is this coming from? But I know the voice of God. I know the voice of Spirit. And so I'm like, you know what? You just need to go do what you're being told to do. Because this didn't come from anywhere else, right? This came from right within me to go take care of this today. Now, did I know I was going there on a day when the office would be closed? Did I know that I was going to be walking there and waiting online where there would be very nice people, well-intentioned people, telling me, oh, they're closed today. They don't do that today. But go ahead anyway. Try it out. See what they say. And I listened. I didn't necessarily listen to them telling me that they were closed, but I listened to the second part of what they said. Go ahead anyway. And you know something? That just gave me a valuable lesson in trust. To trust in myself, to trust in my inner voice, to listen and follow my own intuition, obey myself, obey Spirit within me that is giving me direct messages to do something. Especially when it's waking me up at 4 a.m. Now I know for sure it's something of importance. Because normally you don't get woken up at 4 a.m. for anything other than an emergency or to go to the bathroom. So obviously this had to be something that Spirit wanted my attention on to give me instruction to follow through. But as I said, the two officers that I encountered were very nice, but they had a double message. They're closed today, but go ahead. Go inside. Ask. And all the signs that were posted. The county clerk notary is closed on Wednesdays. I must have seen about 8 signs saying the same thing. All throughout the lobby. In the elevator waiting area, in the elevator, when you get off the elevator, outside the door, as you approach the area to stand on the line. If there was a line, but there was no line that day. There was no one there. Probably because everybody else believed what the sign said, that they were closed on Wednesdays. And so I was able to get through with that process, which allowed me to move on to the next step in the process. And now I'm just waiting for my specific documentation to arrive so I can move forward and doing some other things that I have intention to do. So, why this topic on trust? Because the one person that we really do need to trust in this life is ourselves and our inner guidance. So whether you call it God, spirit, universal consciousness, the one, the source, all being, there's so many names, but there isn't any one name that gives a full description or a full meaning of the totality of the experience of being and acknowledging our connection to a divine source of our creation and our existence. But when we trust ourselves and the voice within, and we don't let anything come between that, miraculous things can happen. Unexpected things can happen. Wonderful things can happen. And we get an opportunity to see our highest good unfold right in front of our very eyes. And sometimes we have to look at that process and analyze it. And there's nothing really scientific about it, because not everybody's going to believe what I'm saying anyway. But I believe it was all connected. I believe it was a divine direction that I followed, and it created an outcome that occurred with ease. My traveling that day, no issues, everything connected in time. I had time to stop at a little coffee shop and have a coffee while I was in the city. I encountered some nice strangers along the way, and I accomplished what I was given direction to go and do. And again, with ease. And that's another point I want to make. When we follow our inner guidance, we're not fighting against anything. I could have fought against myself and turned over in bed and said, I'm not doing that today, whatever, it can wait. I had a choice at that moment, but I actually chose to get up and follow that inner guidance and get ready and make that trip and wait for that office to open. And despite being told and reading signs that they were closed and what I needed done that day would not be able to be done that day, I went ahead anyway with that inner voice command. And so I just want to encourage you to trust what's coming from within you, even when what's going on around you and outside of you shows evidence to the contrary. Trust your voice within. Trust the direction that you are being given from within. And know that you may encounter angels along the way who will encourage you to go ahead anyway. Well, Go ahead anyway. You're already here. Doesn't hurt to keep on going another step. It doesn't hurt to ask. See what they say. You might be surprised. Pleasantly surprised, as I was. And so I will leave you with that message today. I hope it helps someone. I hope you have benefited from my story. And until next time, this is Tonya with Nurses Speak. This is the channel for nurses, where no topic is off limits and your voice deserves to be heard. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.